to hear from createyourfuture.co. So today we have Carol joining us. Hi, Carol.
Hi, everybody.
Guys, this is exciting. Carol's got a story from one of her clients about how she turned around her relationship from basically chasing after him to having him pursue her. So we've got some amazing tips, one of which I'm just going to share with you now is we're going to answer one of the biggest questions everybody has is what do you do while you're waiting for this to happen? So we've got this and more to share with you today. And so yes, Carol, thank you.
Okay, so the story goes like this. She initially contacted me because they had met. They started kind of dating, and he was all in pursuing her. She didn't like him too much at first, and then he kept going. And then once they started dating, all of a sudden he kind of went hot and cold, calling less and less until he did not completely disappear, but he would not contact her every day, probably like once a month, twice a month, see how you're doing, but that's it. There was never a conversation, a breakup, or anything like that. So that's when she contacted us, and we started working on that mini goal, like let's kind of establish communication again. And she started working on the intentions of him contacting me every day, and he contacts me every day. But then we decided to work on changing the story, and rather than feeling like she's the one chasing him, then she started creating intentions of he's the one that's pursuing me. He's the one that's trying to convince me to be with him. We worked on the version of him that she wanted to show up in her reality. That's the angle that we took. So rather than thinking that you're changing somebody, you're not changing anybody. You're just choosing what version of them you want to show up in your reality. So those are the affirmations that she went on. Like she went through these affirmations from that point of view of the version of him that she wanted to see. And little by little, she continued affirming, and he started calling her maybe like once a week. And then all of a sudden, she just continued affirming and affirming. And then he started calling her twice a week. And then it's been like several weeks that he is every day text here like all over the place and calling her every day and loving texts. And he is literally pursuing her right now, and she's just kind of sitting back watching the show, and he's like all over it. He's like, so when are we going to see each other, and what are you doing, and what are you up to today, and I'm thinking about you. And she she's ecstatic about it. And there were moments in between, right? That, for instance, there was this one time that he said to her, I'll call you back. And then he didn't call her for like 2 days. And then, during our session, we discussed that. And it's like, how do you handle this? Because I'm like working on my intentions and everything is going great and I'm persisting, but all of a sudden he does this. And we discussed how to not react, right? So it's like, when you look at it from this angle, is, you're just getting that feedback that we always talk about, right? This is just something that you're just seeing something that you need to work on. And once you work on it, then that only means that you're one step closer to your goal. So it never means that it's a setback. It always means that you're moving forward. You just have to work on this, you work on it, you get out of the way, you continue moving forward, you continue with your intentions. And that really resonated with her. She's like, okay, when you put it this way, then I can definitely focus on that and make it work that way. Mm-hmm. And then another thing that we discussed was what to do while you're waiting, which what you mentioned. And every time she would wait, and she was waiting for that text to come in, and she would look at her phone and she's like, but it's not happening yet. So we said, okay, well then when you're waiting for that, you just have to intend like it's happening right now. This is happening right now. He's thinking about it right now. Picture him. He's holding his phone in his hand right now, thinking of the perfect thing to say, because he worships you. So he wants to think of the perfect thing to say. Why wouldn't he? And he's doing it right now. And that really helped her stay on track. It really helped her stay in the moment. And then little by little, I mean, it's been amazing. She's ecstatic about it. She is, happy that it worked and waiting for that commitment, which is happening, because the way that he's talking to her, this guy is crazy in love with her. Like, there's no doubt.
That's amazing. I love it. I love it. I love hearing stories like this. And you know what, guys? It's possible. I remember, you know what, before when I didn't have a really good relationship with Andrew, I would hear stories like this and people being happy and yeah, right, there's something wrong. This doesn't exist. That doesn't happen. But you know what? When you create it for yourself, you realize that it can happen for everybody and it will happen for everybody. You know, one thing I like that you said about the waiting was, you know what, when you're waiting, what you want to do is bring yourself back to the moment, like back to the end. So this is how, if there's no such thing as waiting. Waiting's a choice, or you're either waiting or you're doing a mental diet and you're living in the end. So how do you live in the end? Is you catch your thoughts in that moment and you say, no, I'm not waiting for anything. You know what? I'm creating. It's going to happen. It's going to happen now. Okay. So exactly. I've never waited for anything in my life. Now, do I have certain things done yet? No, but I'm not waiting. They're being done. They're working on them right now. They're going to be done any minute now. So it's a mindset, right? Waiting implies that it's out of our control. We have nothing to do with it. Jerry will show up when he's going to show up. But that's not true. When you notice the lack, make an intention. That's a mental diet, right?
Exactly. You take yourself to the moment every single time. You have to take yourself to the moment every single time. And it's funny because one of the things that we discussed was that at some point during their conversations, he told her that he gets so nervous around her and that he actually, and that he told her that he gets so nervous around her and that at some point he texted her saying like, I've been sitting here like, you know, an idiot. I'm sorry, but I've been trying to like say the perfect thing and I don't know what to say, but good morning. And she's like, I was just intending that the other day that you were thinking of the perfect thing to say. And like, there you go. Like, you're getting evidence all the time, constantly. And he even said it to you that he was thinking of the perfect thing to say.
You know what? Okay, that's like, okay, you just have me think of something, okay? And I know, okay, you guys, okay, I just got the most brilliant reframe for something, okay? Okay, so instead of rejection, when you say text somebody or you wonder why they haven't texted you and you like them, there you pushed out, intend that they like you, and instead of thinking and taking it as rejection, take it as the assumption that they don't know what to say and they're nervous too because they like you.
They like you so much. Yeah, they like you so much that they're thinking of the perfect thing to say.
And you're sitting there and they're like, no, that sounds dumb. It's like, no, that sounds dumb. Like, seriously, right? But then in time that they just send it, no matter how cheesy it is, that they put themselves out there on the line for you because, you know, they're going to take a chance to just like, confess their undying love for you. Oh,
exactly. Exactly. Yes. I mean, it worked. It worked for her. It works for me, of course, because I mean, I have those intentions too for my boyfriend.
I know, me too, right? Me too. I got lots. You know, basically that I'm the prize here. You know, he worships me, I walk on. You know, I'm the one. You know, but of course it works both ways. Like, I mean, I respect him too. I do very patient and understanding, forgiving and understanding as well. I also have the story that, you know, like we understand each other, that we can say how we feel and we just move on from it. Like, you know, any disagreements don't last long. You know, we get each other. Every fight that we do have, which are barely ever now, we are stronger. You know, our relationship gets better and better every single day. We get closer and closer. Yeah.
I like using with my boyfriend. I like using we balance each other out.
Ooh,
that covers a lot. And then another one that I use because I like to play around with this, and I'm like, well, I can't just dig in my subconscious mind, so I'm just gonna let it do its job. And I every day I say I intend that every day I get evidence that he loves me. So whatever that means, whatever that means.
Right. Well, you know, I intend to be loved and appreciated, not just by Andrew, but by everybody, even my Jerry teddy bear. Please, but those eyes, how can you resist?
Oh, right? So cute. Yes. How can you not, right?
And then, you know what, just a little thing, this Jerry's got baggage. Ready for a relationship, right? So, but you know, I think one big thing that we nailed here, and you know what, and I know that this is something that I struggled with at first when I was creating a lot of things before I really understood this. Was I always thought law of attraction was just affirmations about self-love. And yes, it partly is, but that's only one piece of the equation. The next
Exactly.
piece of the equation is the other person. Okay, whether it's a specific person, whether it's money, whether it's health, everything is a separate piece, right? So you've got how you feel about you and if you're good enough or not, and then how the other thing feels about you, whether
Yeah,
it's
your
money.
assumptions about that person.
Exactly, assumptions. So there's always those two parts, right? And then how you feel about relationships in general, how you feel about, you know, stuff like that. So there's always these working parts, but to recreate people, you know what, you've always got to start with changing the version of them that you're choosing for them to see. You know what? It's almost like this. This is how I think about it. Have you ever noticed, like, have you ever like had a friend, one minute they've been crabby, the next minute they're fine, they're over it? Like, this is it. So one moment you pose a version of them being in a bad mood, the next minute you're like, oh my God, they'll get over it. You guys made up. And then next thing you know, you're laughing, you know, throwing spaghetti noodles at each other, you know? So that's how quickly things can change. And you guys have done it your whole entire life with people all the time. It's just that we think that the specific person is so hard to do it with because we want it so bad and we're so anticipating it, but we have to just start saying, look, we're good enough to have this and it's going to happen. It's going to happen now.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's about choosing, like you said, it's about choosing the version of them that you want to see in front of you. And that's where your intentions are meant to go to that version. You know, you're not changing the old one. You're focusing on what you want to see in front of you, you know, that version of him. And it just, to me, it just makes it easier that way, because if I only have to focus on that, then okay.
Well, exactly, right?
I'll do that. And I'll throw
Amazing.
in there that he worships me and that every day I get evidence that he is madly in love with me. And evidence could be anything. I mean, just, you know, just have fun with it. It could mean you get flowers. It could mean that he does the dishes for you. It could mean that he brings breakfast to bed. You make it mean that he's doing it because he loves you, and you get more of that, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. So this is absolutely amazing. So guys, I'm just going to go over the key points really quickly here. That change your story, change your version of the other person. Okay. Avoid reacting. Okay. So, and then the other big part is what to do while you're waiting, your intentions. Okay. When you notice it isn't there, reaffirm that it's there. Go to the end. Okay. So those are some, and then how to get him to pursue you. Start saying he pursues you. Start creating what pursuing you looks like with your intentions and dwell there. So amazing.
Exactly.
So guys, Carol is available for coaching. Her link is in the description below, so check it out. Thank you so much for being here today, Carol.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And guys, thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. And if you would like to ask me, Amanda, a question, you can definitely join the Patreon group where I'll answer your question. So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.